New York Jets versus Atlanta Falcons reaction video. My Jets versus Falcons reaction, honestly, is that it went about as I expected it to go this week. Before I dig into the fantasy football stuff and my game picks and all that stuff, everybody comment below, Jets fans, Falcons fans, NFL fans, American football fans, if you're catching us from Europe. Comment below, did this game go as you expected it as well? What were your surprises? Just go ahead and comment below. Coming into this game, I thought, my picks, what I thought was going to happen is I thought the Falcons were going to win 26-24. So I thought we were going to be at about 50 points. That is what ended up happening, although, of course, the Falcons were favored by 3. I did have the Jets covering. I was wrong on that. My computer projections had the game scoring lower. It had the Falcons winning 18-12. It did have the Falcons cover. However, if you were betting over and under, it would have been way off in that regard. Let's get into the stats. The big thing for me this week for the New York Jets is Zach Wilson, and this is indicative of young quarterbacks, but Zach Wilson is just trying to force the ball where he shouldn't be forcing the ball, which I thought was interesting because at the end of the game, kind of when you're in the 10 to 15 yard line, there's about 30 seconds left. That's when you need to be forcing the ball into the end zone. You don't try to hit that, that hitch route at the 5 yard line and get tackled to have to burn a timeout. That's not what you want to do. So he's forcing the ball in kind of weird situations. He finishes 19 to 32 for 192 yards. 1 interception, no touchdowns. On the ground, he only gets you 1 carry for 3 yards. The Atlanta Falcons did well bottling up in the secondary. I thought they might have had some issues, some challenges there. I thought the Jets were going to be more successful offensively, and they just weren't. They got some points, while Atlanta was kind of getting to the prevent. They did get that late field goal to squeeze it within a touchdown, but really this game kind of was never in doubt. At the running back position, Michael Carter gives you 10 carries for 38 yards and a touchdown. Ty Johnson also gets in the end zone, but only with 4 carries. This is Michael Johnson's backfield, Michael Carter's backfield. Michael Carter gives you 3 targets, 3 receptions, 20 yards. And here's what's concerning to me about the Jets' offense as well. They're not really getting you these cheap, easy receptions, right? I know they're doing the bubble screen thing every now and then, but 3 targets for Michael Carter, who is really good out of the backfield. He projected to be a 3rd down running back in this league. 3 targets for him is not good enough, especially when your quarterback's going 19 for 32 and struggling. I'm looking for the tight ends. You got Ryan Griffin, 2 targets. Do they even have another tight end on the stat sheet here? I'm looking. Oh my gosh, I don't even see one. That's not enough. You need your running backs and your tight ends for a young, struggling quarterback to have more than 5 targets. That's how you get them off the road. I know Danny Amendola during the game was saying New York needed to be better on first down. That's how you be better on first down. It's not only the running game, which they weren't getting a great yards per carry average. Atlanta held everybody at 3.6 yards per carry, including the quarterback. That's really bad. But you need to get these easy receptions from your supporting positions, not just your wide receivers. I'm talking about the backside of the backfield and the tight ends, and the New York Jets just aren't doing that. This Shanahan system, it works, but it's not working now. They need easier receptions, and of course, they need the running game going. At the wide receiver position, you got Corey Davis leading the team in targets with 7. He also leads the team in receptions with 4, 45 yards, no touchdowns. Jamison Crowder, 6 targets, 4 catches, 24 yards, no touchdowns. And everything else, honestly, just does not look pretty for the New York Jets. They need to be better on first down. How do they do that? They need to integrate Michael Carter in the screen game. They need to integrate their tight ends more. Over to the Atlanta Falcons. Got some answers today, or maybe some confirmations. I think we already had the answers. Let me start with Matt Ryan. 33 of 45, 342 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think I saw that he passed Eli Manning for the 8th most in terms of yardage, and he also, I think, is the 2nd fastest to whatever, 500 completions or something like that, or 5,000. I don't know. You tell me, Falcons fans. I'm not much of a stat guy in terms of personal accomplishments and all that, but Matt Ryan, basically, he's been playing a long time. He's done well. That's my point, everybody. So he did well again today. He was seeing the field well. But at the running back position, again, Cordero Patterson and Mike Davis basically split carries. Mike Davis gives you 13 carries, 53 yards for 4.1 yards per carry average, and 1 touchdown. I said coming into this week, Mike Davis was a guy you could buy in daily fantasy, and I think he'd be able to get you some points there. He also gives you 5 targets, 2 receptions, 8 yards, and no touchdowns. He also had a pretty costly fumble, I think. What's interesting about the Falcons is basically when they're inside the 10-yard line, Cordero Patterson comes off the field. Now, he'll come on in certain positions, in certain circumstances, but basically it's Mike Davis inside the 10-yard line. We see this also with Arizona and James Conner. Basically, Cordero Patterson is like Chase Edmonds, but maybe a little bit better because he's more versatile as a wide receiver. Now, obviously, with Calvin Ridley not making a trip, Cordero Patterson lined up, I think, at wide receiver a little bit more than he otherwise might have. But he gets you 14 carries, 54 yards, 3.9 yards per carry, 0 touchdowns on the ground. Meanwhile, in the receiving game, 9 targets. He's the second most targeted player, 7 receptions, 60 yards, 0 touchdowns. What does this say? It says 2 things. One, Mike Davis, to me, he'll get you, some touchdowns, but he's really better in standard leagues. Touchdown-only leagues. Cordero Patterson, I said this a couple weeks ago, but he's the back to own in this offense. He's a versatile player. They line him up everywhere, and they make it a point to get him the ball. I think he got it a little bit more today, those 9 targets. I think he's getting it just a little bit more than usual again today because Calvin Ridley didn't get there. Also, Kyle Pitts. Let me talk about Kyle Pitts before I get to the other receivers. Kyle Pitts, 10 targets, 9 receptions, 119 yards, 1 touchdown. I got to say, man, finally, Atlanta makes it a point to get him the ball. It helped Pitts, I think, that Ridley didn't make the trip. And I think it's going to help Pitts moving forward. I think this is something that he can use to springboard, and I think Matt Ryan will look for him more in the offense rather than just kind of zero in on Calvin Ridley, and this is going to help Atlanta across the board. Atlanta is playing better football. They're 2-3, could have very easily been 3-2. They lost that close game to Washington. Tajay Sharp, not much of a factor, 5 targets, 4 receptions, 53 yards. Hayden Hurst, who every time somebody even sneezes in his direction, coughed the ball up today. Yeah, he had the 2 fumbles, the lost fumble, but by the way, he fumbled going into the end zone. I think he had already crossed the plane, but he actually bobbled that ball too. Every time somebody touched him, he fumbled. I've been saying Hayden Hurst, his toughness has been a problem for me. It limits him in terms of production, and that's why, by the way, the Atlanta Falcons drafted Kyle Pitts, part of the reason anyway, why they drafted Kyle Pitts as early as they did. Zacchaeus, that huge catch on 3rd down as the Falcons are going in there to end the game. So, the Falcons played a pretty balanced game. This is about Kyle Pitts and Cordero Patterson, though. Matt Ryan playing efficient football. And the Atlanta Falcons, most importantly, I think, bottling up the New York Jets rushing game. Their Jets needed to make more of a point to move the ball on the ground. And I know Atlanta was up early, but, their offense needs to find its identity. They need to go back to just being patient, keeping the ball short for Zach Wilson, run the ball, and then hit your tight ends and running backs out of the backfield. That will help the New York Jets. The Atlanta Falcons, I think they're going to get better moving forward. So good for the Falcons. The Jets, I think it's going to be another couple of weeks. I've been saying I like this offense and I like the the potential of it. But until they make a shift in terms of play calling, I'm going to stay away. So there you go. There's my reaction. Comment below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What went right? What went wrong? Comment below. We'll be back with some more reactions today. Check us out. Thanks, everyone.